Number 9 on my list of mistakes that I see sales leaders make is making a change with very little transparency. And let's face it, people don't like change. They don't want to change in process. They don't want to change in comp. They don't want to change in how they are judged. But in sales, this stuff's going to happen. And your job as a leader is to sell your team on why the change is being made. But here's what happens. And I've been on teams like this. I've seen the good and bad of this. Change is made. They go over the changes, but they don't really understand or explain why. Why is this being done? Why is it better for you? Why should you be excited about it? That leads this to happen, right? Team comes out of the meeting, this big change was made, and it leaves them wondering why it was made. So they go to lunch, they go to happy hour and try to figure it out. Their assumption's almost always wrong. So instead of not being transparent about it, just be honest and open about why the change is going to be made and what it means and why it works for them. Now, I worked for an early stage startup, and I think I worked for the master of selling his sales team. So I saw this firsthand. We had to make changes all the time. And there were some changes that we would go into a meeting, I'd be like, man, aren't you worried about what people are going to think about this? His answer was the same all the time, and it was, nah, it'll be fine. And guess what? It always was. People walked out of that meeting excited. And here's how he did it. He basically walked through a similar sales process that you would walk a client through, which was, he earned the right. I mean, he was the leader of the company, and he did have the respect. So hopefully as a leader, you have that. Discovery. He was constantly talking to reps. He wanted to know where the issues were in the sales process. Where were they struggling, right? He knew how to make things better, right? By the issues people were having, right? Simple discovery. Then he'd come up with a solution. Here's what we're going to do, right? He kind of created the need for what he was trying to sell. Then he would sell the solution, which was, hey, this is why it's going to work. This is what it's going to be better for him. Then he'd close it by saying, hey, this is how we're going to implement it. This is how we're going to test it. This is how we're going to know if it's going to be working. People loved it because he was transparent about why we were making the change. He never skimmed over something. Similar to when you're not selling something to a client, you're probably missing a step in your process. So it's very important when you're making changes, be transparent, why you're doing it, what the plan is, why it's going to be better for them. Get people excited about the change, not to be scared about it. Be transparent. Your team will love you for it.